Okay, welcome. This is week 2 of writing for the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs. Diane had a visit from her dad, which was short and fast and sweet, and she's speaking for the Plaid women in the Dallas area today on art is something, energy, or something like that. Wouldn't we love to be a fly on the wall for that? So I'm filling in for her today. So we want to get started with prayer, and then we want you to introduce yourself. So if you'll notice in the chat room, I've given you sort of a snippet sample of how I want you to introduce yourself here. You should come to every NACWE meeting we have prepared to tell everybody who you are and where you are and a little bit about what you do. The short and sweet version, of course. So you don't see anything in the chat? Oh, I'll do it again then. Oh, you know what? I bet because I did it earlier. See it now? Yep. Okay. Let me pray us in. Father God, we're so grateful. We write all the time, even if we don't think we are authors or writers, and we're so grateful that your words are out there for us in the Bible and in the writings of so many talented people. And may we just use that as a springboard of our place to start, our total foundation, your words. May we speak your words and share your words, and may our words be such a reflection and mirror of yours that people are drawn to you. I'm so grateful for NACWE, for Diane, for all that she's done to put this group together, for the love and education that we share in this group, for the prayer support and entrepreneurial support as well. And I pray for us as we move through this day and we talk about writing being a healing process. And as we prepare to hear from Joyce Glass next week and Diane again the next week on writing, and as we'll talk about writing and our stories and things at the conference as well. Be with each of us as we bring information this way. Be with every NACWE member. We just added one today. We welcome her. God, may everything we do today and in the days forward bring you glory and honor. We ask these things in Christ's name. All right. So we want to go around and introduce yourselves. And you want to do it, I'm going to let you do it verbally. So I think even though I muted you, you can unmute yourself. So let's do that let's go around the circle. You want to tell us who you are. You want to put in the chat room where you are so that we can come back to it for reference later. I actually put a website and the Facebook page that goes along with that. If you're here by phone, you'll just have to chat with us, and if you read us your URL, we'll put it in the chat room for you. So, Marcia, are you ready to start? You look busy.
Hi, I am Marcia Sherrill, and I am a coach, author, and speaker, and I live in Irving, Texas. Is that all you needed?
Yeah, well, and so in the chat room, it's marciasherrill.com.
Oh, yeah. I'll put I was unmuted there, so you want my email well,
you want to put your URL or something.
Yeah, okay.
Your Facebook, you can do your Facebook page and your website, whatever. You can see how I did it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Sorry. Lou, do you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Am I not muted? Okay, good. Oh, so I'm Lou Kraljev, and I am a budding entrepreneur just for the last couple of weeks. And so right now I'm in the middle of writing lots of things, writing presentations for conferences. I'm writing preliminary templates and VIP day content, and I'm also writing stuff for my website, which isn't officially live yet, but will be very soon, and a Facebook page to match. So I'm learning all the million little things you have to write, and it's not just a book. So I won't put my link yet because it's top secret.
So, Marcia, we'll come back to you. We want to also hear what everybody's been writing on. I didn't put that in mine, so we want to do that. Kim, you ready?
Kim which?
Kim Smith.
Okay. I'm Kim Smith. I am in Union, Missouri, just a little west of St. Louis. And Karen and I were talking yesterday, and the open invitation. If you all want to come to St. Louis, I have plenty of room for anyone who wants to come visit. And I am a financial wellness coach, helping people with their finances, but I'm also a speaker and now an author too. And I think that's it. So I'll put my stuff in the chat box.
Pam, talk about a writer.
I'm Pam Wessel. I'm in Oklahoma City. I am working on writing my own autobiography book, and I also sell organics through asante.com. So I'll put my link up. So, and we just came out with a organic bug spray thing, kind of like off, but it's Asante.
Safe and safer.
Yes.
And you're in Oklahoma City?
Yes.
Why did I not realize that? We're not that far apart. I pictured you up in Wyoming or somewhere. That's too weird.
No.
All military people retire in Wyoming. That's why.
No, we try to retire in warmer places.
Yes.
Wyoming's not that warm.
You'd be snowed in. That's true.
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to go to Kim Hawkins. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Kim S. Hawkins, your social media consultant. I have been fortunate to work with the NACWE group, helping with social media for more than the last about a year and a half now. And I'm working on some stuff of my own. As far as writing, I've been writing a curriculum for my editorial calendar program, and I'm almost done with that. And I'm getting prepared to do some new stuff. I'll be writing for, I wrote my first column for a Christian newspaper. It's just a little free paper, but hey, it's exposure and it's an interesting experience. I had several people call me yesterday. They all got their copy and I didn't. I'm like, what? I didn't see it yet. It's just once a month, but it's fun doing something different. And I just moved to a new RV park, and I'm going to be working in the activity office. So that'll be a different experience for me. So. And now I'm in Mercedes, Texas, or before I was in Mission, Texas. So I'm still in the valley.
We love the valley. Oranges, grapefruits.
Yeah.
We don't get them up. We can't grow them up here.
No.
So, something you said, the newspaper, you should talk to Annette. She was the Dallas newspaper columnist for years and said everything was black and white. And Diane's the one who introduced her to color. I love that. Although we know you are very colorful. And so, hey, Judy, welcome. I'm going to unmute you. Welcome to the group. Good to see you. You don't want to introduce yourself? Okay. That's all right.
She commented that she's at the doctor's office with her husband.
Oh, well, that would be a little difficult unless you want to project yourself to the entire waiting room. Hey, somebody there might need your services. Who knows? Anita, we'll let you go.
Okay, I'm Anita Query, Arlington, Texas, and I'm a health and wellness provider with Plexus Worldwide. So we offer health and wellness products that are natural and safe and healthy. And I'll put my website in the box. I am not a writer, but I'm becoming a writer thanks to you guys. Y'all have helped me think of things that I need to write. And sometimes it's things that we say that we don't write down first. Maybe we should. There's some things I've thought of developing, and Karen's talked a lot about things that we write, such as emails or anything like that, just improving what we do write, and things that I can write that I should do. So that's what I'm working on.
Have you already put yourself in the chat room? I don't see it.
No.
Okay.
will.
All right. Thank you. Alley Cat, are you able to talk to us from your phone?
Yes.
All right.
I'm Allie from Lindale, Texas. I'm an author and collaborator. I have 12 books published. Most recently, I wrote devotional adult coloring books, and now I'm working on a novel, which is a bit of a daunting thought, but I feel it's on my heart. For Karen, I streamline the various programs in her different businesses. And if somebody could put in the chat room for me, www.alient.org.
.org. I was getting ready to put you in as .com. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
So we're going to start out with who's going to the conference? Raise hands. Goodness. And then we're cut because at the conference the theme is leadership, legacy, and your business story. So you can imagine we're going to slip some things about writing in there, and there are going to be some exercises where you will actually get some writing done that will influence, we hope, your business in mighty ways for years to come. So plug for the conference, NACWE.org, put it on your Facebook page, personal Facebook page, invite others. We would love to have more people there. We usually have 35, 45 people there. You can imagine what a hoot that is. Well, let's talk about writing a little bit. I want to introduce you to, as I've been writing my dissertation, which is on couples and how they communicate after a grief experience, a bereavement experience, I was introduced to a guy named James Pennebaker. I'll post his information in the little box or put it on the PowerPoint or whatever. He's awesome. I think he's a professor now at UT Austin here in Texas. And he started out years and years ago, he always says he stumbled upon this information by mistake. He was professor in a college setting and doing some work, and his team kind of started helping him. And he began to have college students, if I remember correctly, write for just a short period of time, several days in a row. And they did a control group, very wise. One group just wrote about whatever they wanted to write, what happened yesterday, etc. And then another group wrote about, they were encouraged to write about a traumatic experience that had happened to them. It didn't matter when. And so they wrote 5 or 10 minutes, not very long. Some of them didn't want to write, so they spoke into a tape recorder. And they wrote several days in a row. And then they tracked these students to find out how often did the control group go to the clinic, the college clinic. How often did they go for any sort of mental health guidance? And the control group that just wrote about anything they wanted to write, what happened yesterday or anything benign, went more often for medical health and emotional health than the group that wrote about traumatic experiences. I find that very fascinating. It made me wish that instead of just interviewing my participants for my dissertation, I had asked them to do some writing, and I didn't. And I also, we know that telling your story and walking through it with someone else and working through it is very healing. But here's what he said. I'm a research psychologist who accidentally discovered the power of writing in an experiment I conducted in the mid-1980s. In the study, people were asked to write for 4 consecutive days, 15 minutes per day, about either a traumatic experience or a superficial event. To my surprise, those who wrote about traumas went to the doctor less often in the following months, and many said their writing changed their lives. Ever since then, I've been devoted to understanding the mysteries of emotional writing. So he's written, oh my gosh, tons of books. His first book went out of print, and he got a collaborator to come back in who had more clinical experience, a clinical psychologist or family therapist or somebody like that, somebody named Evans, I don't know, to work with him to republish that book and add some clinical information. And then the one book that I'm using in my zoning in my dissertation is called Opening Up. the healing power of confiding in others. So if you wonder why both of us who've been in coaching for 1,000 years and are coaching people, why our coach is constantly asking us to write about things, and why we ask our coaching clients to write about things, now you know, because even though it's a frustrating experience for some, it's a healing experience for all. So every one of the coaches I've ever had, maybe except Greg, but Diane, Kim, who's sitting in this room, Tom, Kadena, and Greg. Other than Greg, I think every one of my coaches has asked me to write. So Kim, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. We were at a retreat, and Kim, our financial coach, was talking about that she had been asked to write a letter to money. And I hope it doesn't come across obviously, but usually I'm sitting in the audience or sitting across the table from my coach or across the Zoom screen from my coach, and I'm not inside. I may be really pleasant on the outside, but inside I'm rolling my eyes. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Another writing experience. I don't want to do this. I'm a very resistant client. So I thought, are you kidding me? And on one of our breaks, I went out and walked the beautiful retreat area and wrote a letter to money. And I was shocked at the things that I said and the perspective that I got and things that tied in about money to my past. I mean, I came in with my eyes wide open thinking, oh my word, now what do I do with this? I actually came home from that retreat, and you can't absorb everything, but you do usually bring home some takeaways, and that was one of mine. Came home from that retreat and changed the entire financial picture of my company. First thing I did was hire a bookkeeper to set me up, got into one of Kim's short-term coaching programs, got Kim and her cohort, Greg, to help me with some real hard, detailed stuff. And none of it cost me an arm and a leg, but it's changed the face of everything that we're doing. So just so we don't roll our eyes at some writing experiences we're going to do today, they can be so life-changing. Totally life-changing. We all know that, but if you're like me and you have any resistance strain in you, you balk at the writing process. So Pat Schneider wrote the book, How the Light Gets In, and to quote her, she said, to write about what is painful is to begin the work of healing. So I think I will ask some of my client participants for that dissertation later. Once I get the thing done, I'll go back and ask some of them to write some things down for me about their experience. On last week's cafe call, Diane listed so many things we have to write as entrepreneurs. I was kind of blown away, and I try to make my own list too, so I'm going to go find my list and compare it to hers and see what, but the list goes on and on forever. And she listed things like posts for social media. And Kim Hawkins knows, we all know, that's not just, you can't say that in one statement. That's 1,000 things that have to go into social media in a month. Maybe not 1,000, but if you think about it, if you added up all your social media, for example, on one of the programs, Co-Schedule, Hootsuite or something, they have a package that limits you to 10 social media sites. And I thought, I have more than 10 social media sites. So 10 social media sites times posting something every day for 30 days is already 300 things that have to be posted. And I have more than that. Who keeps up with this? We don't keep up with it without the Kims in our lives, honestly. Let's admit it. So just her list, I thought, oh my goodness, if you expand her list, it goes on for months, right? Every newsletter that you write, every blog post that you write, every web page, every email, every social media post, every thank you note, the list just goes on and on forever. So we're constantly writing. When she asked, what else do you write? People were typing in the chat box, and I was blown away at some of the things that they said that I hadn't even thought of. So we're going to do a little writing exercise. And then I want you to share with the group if you can. So take a piece of paper and a pencil. I guess I need a timer. Not too difficult. You're just going to write a few words. You're not necessarily going to write a page or anything. Oops. Timer instead of calculator. Okay. I think we'll try 1 minute, see where that takes us, because I want you to have time to talk. So for 1 minute, you've done this before if you've sat with me for more than 5 minutes. So think through it again. You can use things that you've written before, but for 1 minute, I want you to just think of words to describe why you do what you do without telling me what you do. So you can't use the word financial and you can't use the word coach. You have to tell me 3 words that describe why you do what you do without telling me what you do. You can write more than 3, but we're going to pick 3. Pick the top 3. So if you get a bunch, here goes the timer. Okay. Then another minute. You ready? You're going to write 3 words that describe you. And it can be, you know, what you already know about yourself. Kim and I yesterday were talking about your strengths finders and how that plays into everything that we do. But 3 words to describe you. You may even use words that someone else has said about you. Ready to go. My goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. The next 3 words are 3 words that describe your client. So let's see, lost my place here. Describe her or the greatest pains she hopes to be relieved, or her desired gains that you help her coach for. So 3 words. It can be her, about the greatest pains she has that she hopes to be relieved by your coaching or your services, or her desired gains. Ready, set, go. Okay, if you're like me, I did write more than 3 words in every one of those categories. So let's give ourselves a minute to just read through those words and circle the ones you're going to use as you talk to each other. So I'm going to set the timer, just circle the ones or star them or something that are most important. I'm going to set the timer for 1 more minute. Okay. So really what we want to hear from you, we're going to unmute everybody one at a time. We want to hear from you. What were those 3 groups of 3 words? And then a little snippet from you about where that took you, where that might take you next, what it might do for your services, your programs, your products, past, present, or future. Like this Pennebaker guy repurposed his book and added a clinical perspective and that sort of thing. So anybody want to volunteer? Hot seat? Yeah, both of the Kims volunteered. Kim Hawkins, go ahead.
Okay. For the first one, in what I do, I share, encourage, and enlighten. Am I doing all 3 sets?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Words that describe me. Since you mentioned the strength finders, of course, my mind went straight towards that. Positivity, learner, and I'm an inspirer. And then the last set was my client. My clients are creative, adventurous, and open-minded.
All right. So any aha moments for you as you were writing through that? Uh-oh.
Well, I tried to just write the 3 words only, so I only have 2 little scribbles on my page. To follow the instructions and just write 3 words was harder.
So, okay, didn't take you anywhere just yet. Let us know if something comes to you. Type in the chat box. Yeah. Oh, Kim, you said in the chat box there are a lot of words that comprise your online presence, and we're going to spend May, June, and July talking about your online presence. I actually think, Kim, we need you in that group. Have a blank spot. I think I need you. Talk to me. Yeah, James Pennebaker. That's right. Pennebaker. So, y'all, I'll also put some stuff in there. Marcia has to leave early, so you want to come next, Marcia?
Yeah, I'll do next. Okay, so on the first question, when listening to you, I got 2 questions. Why I do what I do, and then the other one was, why do I write? So I answered the question, why do I write?
Okay.
And I said, it's healing. I write my thoughts and dreams, and I write my insights. The 4th word was love, because I love to write. Words that describe me, that I am honest, deeply honest. I am supportive, and I am a connector. Words that describe my client, and I did their greatest pains and what they need me for, and that is encouragement, confidence building, and clarity. And then the 4th one that comes up that was close to clarity was strategies. they need me to work with them on
Yeah.
strategies.
And do you see that this ties into that Lectio Divina process as well? Do you still do that?
Yeah, I do on occasion. I still do that, and I love to do that. And
Give us a minute or two snippet of that.
okay, Lectio Divina. That's something that I came across because I read so much and I study so much, and it's this Lectio Divina, and that's Latin words that you could take a devotional, and you could read that devotional one time, just read it through, and then you read it through the second time very slowly, and you start putting emphasis on different words. And then you do it a third time, and you have you in mind when you're reading it. You make it real personal, and you're reading it slowly, and then the fourth time around you're doing it, and I believe it's with God in mind. And so it's like God speaking to you directly, and to maybe a certain thing in your life, a situation or whatever that you have in mind when you read it. And so each time you get something different out of what that is telling you. And so it was one time that came up where Karen was needing something, and I happened to be studying it that night, and I shared it with her, and I just, look what I found, and I did this, and I, read that, and I shared it with her, and I, not knowing that it was so healing for her and whatever it was that she was going through. And so then I shared it with Diane, and it was just something that we started doing that year.
So if you can imagine taking a fifth step and adding it to that, and that being journaling, can you just imagine? So that's what happened to me. My sister Anita's in the group. So when the night that our mom died, I was driving home, and I thought, I'm driving home in the dark by myself. I need to talk to somebody. And I called a couple of people, and Marcia's the one that answered the phone, and she walked me home all the way. She stayed on the phone until I got home. And that's one of the things she introduced me to. And so I got home and sat down and wrote a little snippet about my mom and about the day. One of the key things in my snippet or journaling was that we always thought that I would be the one, being a grief counselor since 1995, that was there sitting beside Mom, holding her hand at those last moments, and it ended up to be Anita. And it was a real special experience for her. But it must have been hard, of course. But that another example of writing, encouraging. We'll just go around the circle. I don't know what order your pictures are on your screen, but on mine, Kim Smith would be it.
Okay. I have to say, why I do what I do was actually harder to write 3 words. I could do phrases really easy, but 3 words, it's like, I'm going to go with educate, equip, and prepare. But really, hope and legacy are the words, but they didn't fit right. Why I do what I do? Hope. Anyway, so that kind of covers that. 3 words to describe me. Responsible, that's one of my strengths. Wisdom and connector. And then 3 words to describe my client. I did 1 pain and 2 gains. Stressed, and then gain, they want to gain hope and freedom.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Pam, are you ready?
Sure. Why I do what I do. I sat there, I think, for half of the first minute not writing anything. Because it's fun. I get to learn new things. It's challenging. 3 words that describe me: tenacious, interesting, punctual. And 3 words that describe your client. I put they can live in a cleaner environment, be better informed, and then less toxic.
Less toxic. I'm going to borrow the word tenacious for the day, if you don't mind.
That's You go right ahead.
Love it. Anita, you ready?
Okay. I wrote down phrases too, but I went back and circled the words. So my 3 words on why is people, health, and natural or naturally. And 3 words describe me: compassionate, friend, and analytical. Nod your head on that. She knows me. To balance that out too. It's like, oh, I'm over analytical sometimes. 3 words that describe my clients are sick, like they're ill. They're frustrated, and for some, they are broke, like financially or physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be either way.
Lee, are you ready?
Okay, so I had computer difficulties, so I missed the very first part, but I think I got it. So what do I do, or why do I do? So I put inspire, reveal, and activate. Words to describe me, and I pulled in my strength finders too when you said it. I was like, oh. So I put in 2 of those, which was strategic and woo, and creative. And then my client, this was kind of hard because I started describing them, instead of just a word. But I said enlightened, observant, and action taker. You can't just be enlightened, observe, and not take action.
I love that. Yeah. Let's see if Allie, are you able to pop in?
Yes, ma'am. Why I do what I do, the overall word is hope, but it's help, encourage, build up. And who people say I am is analytical, organized, and problem solver. And the client feels inadequate, alone, or overwhelmed.
I love that. What were the first 3 words of why besides hope? What were the other 3?
Help, encourage, build up.
Build up. So the mental picture was Allie's my operations manager for everything. I can't tell you how many times when you said your client is overwhelmed, how many times I've called her and said, you're going to have to get a spatula. You've got to scrape me off the ceiling here. And you've done that. Very encouraging, very helpful. Bye. Are you leaving us, Marcia? So good to see you. I'm not going to do mine but I'll post them later because I want to move to the next step. Just know that these powerful words, all 9 of them that came straight from your heart, belong in. You've heard me say this before. Again, if you've sat with me for more than 5 minutes, they belong in your mission statement, in your vision, in your core values, in your competitive advantage. It's what you have that not everybody else has. They belong somewhere on your website, in your blogs, in your social media posts. They should permeate almost everything you do. And yes, they're going to change as time goes on and you meet new clients and have new ideas, God-given ideas. If you're like me, you've got so many of them, you can't keep your head straight. But they belong everywhere. Those are your keywords. Next, let's talk about, I'll send it to you if you want it. I just wrote not just a blog, a chapter for a book on the handwritten note of gratitude and how we're created to be grateful. I sometimes think, not as much anymore, that I look at the glass half full, empty before I look at the glass half full. And it's a training in discipline. Take every thought captive, God says, to change that. And I think I'm getting better and better at that. Every now and then I need a little prodding, even from Facebook the other day. So, but can you recall at all the last thank you note or handwritten note you received? Or the last thank you note or handwritten note you sent? It's April 10th, 11th. I'm still writing thank you notes for Christmas gifts, and it's 4 months later. Good heavens. It's something I don't like to do, but you know when you receive that note, what a precious, precious. That's why we have shoe boxes full of cards, Christmas cards and birthday cards and notes from people and letters from people that we've never opened and reread, but they're there. We love that. So I want you to, I'm not sure, think about that. You can post in the chat room instead of talking out loud about the last handwritten note you received or sent and what it meant to you. And then when Diane asked last week, what else do you write after that long list of, hundreds of, now I've overwhelmed everybody, 1,000 posts you need to make per month. She asked, what else do you write? If you were there, did you notice that several people, 2 or 3 people, posted in the chat room prayers? I love that. Someone said devotionals, but several people said prayers. It reminded me of the movie The Help, where Aibileen, the maid, says to Skeeter, the author, I write my prayers every night, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for 2. And I thought, really? 2 hours worth of prayers every night? The woman must not sleep. But I was so inspired by that. So I want you to, we're not going to spend, you're not going to get much of it done, but we'll spend a little bit of time. How many minutes do you need to write a short prayer for your client this morning? 2, 3, you think? Want to go for 2 or 3? 2? Okay, we got to vote for 2. Here comes the timer. If you want to write it for a specific client instead of a generic client, you might package it up and send it to her, actually. I think that would be wonderful. So I'm going to set the timer. You're going to write a short prayer out for your client. Ready? Go. We're at 30 seconds. Oh my gosh, okay, we're about to finish. Woohoo! All right. So I will share as many of these as we can, and as people need to sign off, I don't want to run over an hour. It's against my religion. So I actually wrote to a woman who we just published a book for in February, I think, and she's already plowing through her second book, and she writes on the topic of sexuality and sexual matters, and so you can imagine she's either, from a biblical perspective, she's either revered or vilified the whole way. So I put a note to her. I'm so excited that you published your first book. Here's my prayer for the second. Lord, bless her as she travels and speaks and writes on hard topics under some of the most depreciating spiritual attacks and within dark spiritual battles. Protect her, provide for her. Give her discernment and wisdom and strength to do your will. Amen. Somebody else? Anybody? You have to unmute yourself or raise your hand or something. Kim Hawkins. I'm unmuting people as they're muting them. It's crazy. I need to keep my hands off the wheel.
I think the Kims are in sync. We both go to raise our hands. My prayer was, Father God, you are always with us, but my request is that she feels your nearness as she traverses the day. Let her know that you are right there with her each step of the way. But most of all, let her know that she doesn't have to do it all, know it all, or be the answer to every question. That's the space where you step in and fulfill the needs.
I love it. Let's go fast so we can get everybody in. Anita, you want to go next?
Okay, my prayer was that the clients would become more aware of their awareness of their health and wealth needs or shortfalls, that they would fully understand the root causes and effects and have a desire to get to the root of their problems and commit to tackling them. And that I prayed for me kind of that I would clearly and effectively communicate with them how I can help them, and that I would help build a trust, that they would trust me to help them.
Wonderful. Lou?
Yes, so I wrote to a client that I'm collaborating with, and just, prayed that, thank God for her, and that to inspiring to see your God-given strength to build businesses, transform leaders in the hospitality industry. So it's just a prayer. I don't know. I haven't finished it, but so I was trying to figure out how do I send this to her, but write a prayer for her.
Awesome. Abby, will you come in next?
My turn. I was still kind of writing, sorry. I also drive for Uber, so I put some of that in my prayer. I put, Dear Lord, I pray for all my clients and potential clients to feel safe while I'm driving, to be healthy in body, mind, spirit, and emotions, and to be uplifted and inspired to try new things and be aware of how, and I thank you, Anita, I kind of borrowed some of your prayer, be aware of how toxins can affect our health, and that I would share with them in a friendly way.
Awesome. Allie, can we get you in real quick?
Sure. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I won't name the name because y'all might know her. But may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and give you peace. Father, please allow her to be filled with the knowledge of your will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of her Father, fully pleasing you, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of you, being strengthened with all power according to your glorious, all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to you who have qualified her to share the inheritance of the saints in light. Let her remember she has been delivered from the domain of darkness and transferred into the kingdom of your beloved Son, in whom we all have redemption and forgiveness of sin.
This is why you've written 12 books. It seems to have come pretty easily. Thank you so much. I think the beautiful thing is we can apply all of these prayers to ourselves and to our clients as well. So I kind of soaked it up. I hope y'all did too as we were going through this. Thank you so much for being here. We'll try to post some of this information in a PowerPoint on the NACWE member site and in the classroom, and post this for future viewing as well. Not sure I know how to do that. That's why we have a team of NACWE people there doing stuff for Diane. So let me pray us out. Thanks so much. God, thank you so much for key words that have encouraged us, that have spurred us forward to help our clients, that have helped each other. Thank you for your word, for people like James Pennebaker, who are willing to think outside the box and take us to new places with our words. May everything we write from this day forward bring you glory and honor. May it reach, expand our borders. May it reach many people. May it help them in their businesses and in their personal lives, and also draw them to you. Bless every one of the women here today as they go about their day. May thoughts and remembrances of this hour come back to them and encourage them onward. And we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.